Deus Vault, my fellow gamers. Here's package time. Okay, this unassuming manila envelope holds classic Raw Partha Fantasy. So, for those of you that don't know, Ironwind Metals, they have the rights to a whole bunch of stuff, most famously Battletech. They also have stuff for Vor the Maelstrom, which is very nice. And it looks like they got some Raw Partha stuff too. I'm sad that Raw Partha went the way of the dodo, but it is what it is. So this model here came from a game called Chronopia? No, not Chronopia. What is it? Okay, well, it's the Headless Horseman. Poop. Anyway, it was they were trying to make, Raw Partha was trying to make a game, fantasy style game. And they had like a Halloween-y type faction, which I was all about, man. They had a witch. They had these pumpkin golems. They had a greater one and lesser ones. And they were just basically vines, and then you have a little bit of hay for shoulders, and then this giant pumpkin head on them. And they were really awesome. This is not the original wrapper, of course. This is second wind type stuff on it. But this guy is what I'll use for my Kings of War for a Mounted Necromancer. You know, it's cheesing me off now. I quoted it in the comments to another video, my last video actually. Okay, let's get started. There's your bog standard cavalry base, which I will not be doing anything with. Personally, I despise this double garbage thing. This was proprietary to GW's nonsense, and this is just a Chinese base. That's poop and won't be used. Oh no, get off the best bit. His pumpkin head is locked between, there we go. Alright, so I love me metal models. And this is, get off there, bruh. Okay. There's pieces of flash. You have a really nice metal horse, a bit thin in the body, not as thick as a horse ought to be, and definitely not as emaciated as an undead horse should be. But it's got the wild, you know, the hair going all the way up the side of the leg here, the very wild, hairy, almost Clydesdale hooves. So very wild looking dude. Some heads on the side there because, you know, he's chopping heads out there, out in upstate New York. He's doing it. So the horse is pretty cool, but as I said, not as thick. Was this a Sandra Garrity piece? No. She's just so prolific. I don't know, it looks like a KS. My fault, a KS. But yeah, Raw Partha, it says 2000. That's basically when the hammer fell on top of Raw Partha's head, too. Goodness. I'm trying to remember the name of the game. Let's see. Chronopia was one of those whack games. It might have been part of Chronopia. Man, dude. I'm going to figure it out and add it to the description below type thing, I think. Okay. I've always disliked his sword, but there's the Headless dude himself. For some reason, he has a bat-looking emblem on his chest. What I like about this model here is the pumpkin in the hand. It's really cool. The sword, I feel, is hot fantasy garbage, which, since I want him to be a necro, I might chop that off and make it into some kind of a scepter or something. But he does come with a fancy dress cloak, and who doesn't love that? So, boom. he is rocking it old school. That's awesome. So he definitely has that sweet, sweet cloak, the high collar. The boots are another whack thing that I'm gonna deal with. He's got these goofy, like, metal horn things to stab people with. I'm just gonna file those down into normal boots. You know, he doesn't need to be kicking people in the face like the old Marvel character, the Tarantula, who has those big old toenails that are hanging out of his feet. Now, you guys, you're going to be Googling that stuff. I know you will. So, yeah, just look it up. Tarantula, I believe he is. You would think he's a Spider-Man character, but no, he is a Wolverine villain, of all things. So minor augments I'm going to be doing here. Oh, yeah, and it is, oh, man, you guys can't really see. It is gruesome in there. Let me see here. Background does not help. Oh, there we go. See, it's got some gribbly bits in there. So you've got like some muscle clusters, some bone bits, maybe a piece of esophagus or whatnot, but definitely gruesome up in there. So most excellent. Definitely the sword will be changed. If anything, I will just put a new sword on, something that isn't so funkadelic. You know, what is that, part can opener? But yeah, really goofy. So the changes, the sword's gonna go away. I think the Batman symbol on his chest will have to be dremelled off. I never, you know, I mean, it was the 2000s, people were being silly, and so okay, Batman has to go away, and the boot tips, those need to go away. Just give him some normal boots, and he'll have this fantastic cape. It's actually at a really cool angle too, for him being on the back of a horse. I think he might need a leg squish too. So what happens is when these cats, let me just see here real quick. This video is just showcasing him. So if you're cutting metal, use some nubby nippers. Don't use your real fancy, like if you got a pair of God hand nippers or the Tamiya side cutters, because those are expensive. Don't do it. Don't use it on metal. Okay, so when we've got this guy, typically what you want to do, a lot of people paint these separately. I don't play that game. I glue them together and I paint them together. But I will still pin them, because this is actually a lot of metal on the back of a rounded saddle. So you'll just find the center point of the saddle and make a little, take your X-Acto knife. Now I have a blunted X-Acto knife for these types of purposes. You don't want to use a fresh one. That blade will break so fast. So you put a little pressure. Oh, that's not quite center. There you go. Always do this stuff looking with your eyes, not through a viewfinder. Okay. All right, so once you make yourself a little divot as such, that's just enough for the tip of a pin vise to fit in. Once again, I'm using the viewfinder, not my own eyes. And you'll apply pressure and you'll drill. I'm not going to drill all the way because this will take forever, but you see how I'm getting that nice curl going on, and that's going to, you know, go all the way in there. And what I do is I just use paper clips. Everyone's got freaking paper clips. It matches pretty good. There's a little wiggle room for this, but you just sink a paper clip in there pretty deep because you don't want it to move too much, and then you sink hopefully as much into like the booty of this guy, like if you're gonna impale him like you're Vlad. Okay, but just go in just like so. That way he's firmly attached to the horse's saddle, and he doesn't do too much drunk riding, and that's kind of like that, you know, the drunk riding type stuff. Ooh, I've had too many. So, and now what I mean by a leg pinch is this guy, he's kind of wobbly. So what you might want to do is bend down kind of like that. Make it to where he's not so wobbly. He's actually holding on to the horse as you would if you're really riding. Your thighs and legs, and whatever the lower leg part is called, that's also holding on to the saddle. So you're actually gripping. And now it's a little bit more difficult for me to take him off, but that's good because now when I put him back on, he'll be snug. So, all right, this guy, of course, has some major flash to deal with here and down here. And actually, his foot is so big, I might just cut this whole tab off, which is what I think I'm going to do. And yeah, I'll plant both feet firmly on the ground and just have his torso up. I don't know why they have this. It's weird. Maybe it's to space the legs for the molding process. When it cools, they don't want it to fold down and just be kind of like a lazy leg. So yeah, I'm going to cut that all off and just have these 2 feet on a base to where he's rearing up with this homie on the back with his cape flowing, and he's looking all, I'm cool. But the sword's going to go away. I've always despised that sword and the boot tips and the Batman symbol. So this will be the new mounted necromancer for my army. I guess necromancers can sport the sword, but I think he's going to be shooting stuff through his pumpkin. It's all to add to the whole Halloween pumpkin theme, and who doesn't want the Headless Horseman as part of their retinue? This is one of the departures from Mantic models that I'll be doing. I won't be doing many of those, but this is kind of a special thing, and I don't think anybody would hate me for it because this guy's pretty awesome. I'll remember the name of the game that he was originally designed for. And when I started collecting the Halloween themed stuff, this guy included with the witch, with the pumpkin golems, and they had a giant crow as well. That's when Rael Partha kicked the bucket, and they never finished much else. So this model here is one of the last that Rael Partha released as a company, which is, it's sad because Rael Partha released so many excellent kits. They were pioneers. But yeah, you can thank your local Games Workshop for helping to destroy them. It's just how it is. It's customers, they want the grimdark, they get the grimdark, and they really screwed me out of a Halloween army that was legit from Rael Partha. I mean, how excellent would that be? And a legit Rael Partha army. Oh my gosh, I'm so butthurt. Anyway, this guy's going to be resurrected into my new Undead army, and it's going to be most excellent. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Gotta have a sweet, sweet cape. You'll see him put together and whatnot. I am starting to put together my second set of wraiths. I despise cleaning these guys so much. And what's sad is I have my eyes set on getting the elite army for the Undead, which includes 10 more of these. But the main reason I'm getting it is for the Revenant Cavalry that they have. It's 2 sets of Revenant Cavalry. We all know that cavalry is huge. They're your shock troops. That's what you want. And I'm just going to do the whole collecting one of everything, even though something may not be optimized to the meta today. That's the wonderful thing about wargaming. It always changes. And Revenants, I don't know if they're good now or not, or if cavalry is worth a toot, but I'm still going to collect it. Yeah, I mean, it even comes, the elite army comes with Lady Iona, which I already have a copy of her. So it's okay. I don't mind having 2 of her. She can go in the trash can or go elsewhere. So she's not really somebody that you can convert. But anyway, you guys take it easy. And I'll try to remember the name of this game. I'm going to go Google it here in a little bit. So y'all take it easy, and I'll talk to you later. Carry your lays on.